What's up, guys? Today, we're going to be reviewing KOD by J. Cole. Late in 2018, rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, and Dreamville head honcho J. Cole released his fifth full-length studio album, KOD. Cole has become one of the biggest names and leaders in the rap world through his thought-provoking lyrics and topics, his flow, and his Dreamville record label where he signed some of rap's most interesting artists. Artists like JID, Earth Gang, Boz, and Ari Lennox have all come out with great albums and music coming from this Dreamville record. Most notably, the collaborative Revenge of the Dreamers 3, which dropped in late 2019. Prior to this release, Cole released KOD, which according to Cole himself apparently has three different meanings. KOD stands for three things at the same time, and kind of sets a mood and subject matter for the LP. It could either stand for Kids on Drugs, Kids Overdosed, and Kill Our Demons, which he released in a Twitter statement sometime before the album's release. Throughout the album, J. Cole does some great commentary on the different types of addictions and drugs that not only affect himself, but also his community. I would just like to say, the production on this album is honestly amazing. The beats are catchy, and for the most part, Cole does a great job to complement them with his energetic and interesting flows and singing. To kick off the album, Cole treats us with the title track KOD, a minimalistic track that showcases J. Cole's rapping ability and sets the tone for the rest of the album. I really enjoy how simple the beat is for this track, with its overblown bass, crisp hi-hats, and thumping kicks. Also, throughout the track, we get these ghostly minor staccato chords that really add to the dark and looming vibe of the opening track. In the second verse, Cole begins to mention drug abuse through his alter ego, Kill Edward. I'm not really a big fan of the lowered pitch he uses to differentiate the two people, but it does contribute to the key points of what Cole is trying to explain. Edward, his alter ego, is like the stoned out, druggy version of Cole that pretty much only thinks about the various drugs on Cole's mind. He first appears in the title track when Cole is rapping about the drugs he is using to numb the pain he is going through. Throughout the album, Edward takes over Cole's voice on occasion. Overall, I think Cole's flow on this track is nice and really complements the simplicity of the beat. Moving on to the next track, Photograph, Cole talks about how much love has evolved through the internet and how people can be fake in promoting themselves online. Musically, I personally did not enjoy this track as much as the title track and many of the other tracks on KOD, for example. The beat is very laid back, and while I enjoy these slow tracks, this one feels kind of boring and drawn out compared to the better tracks that he's made in the past, like Love Yours and For Your Eyes Only. The hook is slow and repetitive, and the beat itself creates a lazy tone that persists throughout the rest of the track. And when Cole tries to hype up the track at sometimes, it doesn't really work because the production doesn't amp up as well. The next song, The Cutoff, is much better at being a more laid-back track than Photograph can try to be. I really like this track a lot better than its predecessor, mostly because of the beat. It's chill, laid back, and piano bass, which I think brings out of a lot of emotion, especially from J. Cole. The verses really showcase Cole's viewpoint on drugs, and his alter ego, Kill Edward, demonstrates how sucked up some people can be into drugs and how it can literally consume their lives. Edward is the embodiment of how not to deal with life's problems, and Cole's lyricism really demonstrate the struggles that his alter ego has. In this track, we get to see the difference between the humble and compassionate J. Cole and the stoned out, addicted Edward. The next two tracks in this album showcase the drugs, greed, and money. Both ATM and Motivate are fast-paced tracks with energetic and catchy choruses. ATM, to begin with, has these fuzzy piano chords that blossom into this super hyped up track. In this song, Cole talks about his relationship with money and how it can be somewhat addicting. It's kind of cool to see the two different sides of Cole in the song, with the first verse talking about how important money is to his lifestyle. The second verse talks about how chasing a lot of money will never leave a person satisfied. Also, the beat on this track is perfectly timed with Cole's flow, with these metronomic hi-hat patterns and snares that make the chorus very catchy. Motivate has a similar vibe, and its message really drives the point about how chasing money can be a drug to Cole. This is easily the craziest song on the album, and it's another one of my favorites. After this song, we move on to the second half of the album, where we see a lot more toned down and introspective tracks about drug abuse and why people may choose to do them in the first place. But first comes the song Kevin's Heart, a track 100% devoted to Kevin Hart's cheating scandal back in 2018. This track easily has the best beat on the album, with these awesome and chill video game-like piano chords. Also, the beat drop on this song towards the beginning of the track is one of the most satisfying and coolest moments on the entire album. While this is one of the more playful tracks, it's probably my favorite on the entire album. J. Cole's structure and flow are honestly perfect. I also love the deep, punchy bass and the clear trap instrumental. I just can't believe Cole put Kevin Hart in the music video and this song clearly bashing him. Moving on, Brackets is a pretty chill track that talks about underprivileged communities and how tax dollars in the US are spent. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool commentary on how Cole wants to move tax dollars to these communities affected by racism. The interlude track following Brackets is Cole's experience with his mother dealing with alcoholism and how he can't really help her because he's a kid. You can really sense the emotion and therapeutic nature of the song coming from Cole's lyrics and delivery. The beat honestly makes the situation he is describing a lot scarier and personal. Friends, another track on the album, I feel is ruined by the addition of the lowered voice alter ego Kill Edward once again. I understand why he puts his alter ego in the album, but it gets kind of distracting because you want to hear Cole's voice instead of Kill Edward's. I much prefer Cole's natural voice over Edward's, and I think the hook on this track could be a lot more creative if he did himself. Window Pane is probably the spookiest track on the album, with these ghostly screams arpeggiated downward. Cole comments on how crime affects his community. He also acknowledges how lucky he is not to experience the misfortune and tragedy experienced on a daily basis. The final track is called 1985, when Cole addresses new rappers entering the rap game and criticizes their recklessness and stupidity at times. He wants these new rappers to act like a better person and stop doing stupid things for clout,
6ix9ine.
Overall, I enjoyed this album a lot. Of course, J. Cole's artistic decisions are impactful and thought-provoking, and his flows are always great, but I think the addition of Kill Edward into the album ruined a couple of the tracks for me. I would give this album a light 7.